Hello, my name is Robbie Fitzwater. I own and operate Marketing Rhythm. We help e-commerce businesses with retention marketing, mainly focusing on email marketing and SMS marketing. And we like to answer some questions about marketing and email marketing specifically. One question or a kind of a category of questions we get asked all the time: open rates. What is open rate? How does it work? How should I think about it? And why does it matter? So we decided we would answer some of those for you guys just to clear things up and to talk through kind of what open rate really means, how to look at it, and how to use it as a tool to make sure that your marketing is doing what you want it to be doing, but also that it's not kind of the end all be all in how you're judging success or failure. So let's get going. At a high level, what is open rate? Open rate is basically an email marketing metric that helps you understand the percentage of people that actually opened your email based on the number of people that actually received that email. So it basically offers a good indicator of how effective your subject line and your preview text are, how well you actually get people to open that email. A lot of cases, people will use this as kind of that like North Star goal metric and goal KPI, where it isn't always necessarily the case. A lot of times open rate is kind of more of kind of a vanity metric than anything, and in a lot of cases maybe a little bit deceiving, but open rate is a really nice kind of an indicator for success or making sure you're going down the right path. But it's not the only thing you should be measuring. So how open rate relates to a lot of your other metrics is going to be really important, but open rate as a whole, again, good to be understanding, not going to be the end all be all for you. So what does a good open rate look like? So on average, this is I think MailChimp did a study a few years back, and they found about a 20% open rate on average is probably where you want to be looking at, is like starting with a good number. Some of those may be higher, some of those may be lower, depending on what industry you're in, depending on what vertical you're spending time in. Is it B2B, B2C? Is it e-commerce? Is it like fashion versus like, again, a little bit more like mattresses or socks? Borrowing from the group at Flowium with mattresses and socks, but basically understanding what is going to be the purpose of your emails, and that's going to be a really good insight into why people are going to be opening them, or what's going to be the draw for those opens. Also, for open rate, there's different types of emails. So fundamentally, your emails are going to be different they're going to be opened differently based on what type of email that is. So thinking about the different types of emails, like we have three different types of campaign emails. That's emails that I send to a specific list at a specific time to elicit a specific behavior. Those are going to be probably the lowest open rate of any of those three, just because, again, the context of it isn't as high as there would be for others. But again, this is where my typical, again, sending to a broad list, that's where most people are thinking about open rate and thinking about it as a really important metric. But those campaigns are going to be what we want to get, again, opens and actually drive those behaviors. So campaigns, that 20% for campaigns is going to be that good number you want to look at. For triggered emails or automated emails or flows, that's going to be a little bit higher, because typically on average you're going to be triggering those based on somebody's behavior. The context of those is going to be much higher, and the level of personalization can be much higher too. So those are where you're really connecting the content with context and really creating something that's really meaningful and impactful. So those typically have a higher open rate. Like on average, like we see a lot of our clients in a range of like sometimes like 50 to 80% with a lot of their automated emails, just because they're so highly contextual that it's really helpful for them to, again, we can narrow the window and audience that actual emails can be sent to, and because they're doing something, they get this. That's where that high level of context really helps. And if you can get those to a higher level with that more segmentation and more personalization, those really perform extremely well. The other area is transactional emails. Those are going to be emails that really are going to be like validating a transaction or validating an exchange. Those are going to have 100% deliverability. So you can't end up in the spam folder with the transactional email. Those actually are all going to end up in your inbox as opposed to newsletter promotions in Gmail. But basically those transactional emails, those are like a shipping confirmation or an order confirmation. Those are going right to your inbox, and those have about a 70% open rate on average. So basically as a whole, as a like kind of an entity or a type of email, those have the highest open rates as a whole. So thinking about those in terms of like, hey, people are going to be opening those a lot. Again, you don't have as much control over those, but typically those are going to be the highest open rate of any type of email you're sending. So just kind of understanding those three in broad strokes really helps to understand and frame, hey, how do I need to be thinking about open rate, and how do I need to be framing it, and what does good look like? So from there, are open rates accurate? So this is one number where we found a little bit more ambiguity in the last few years. So I think it's September 2021, iOS update 15.5 came out, or Apple iOS update 15.5 came out, where anything on Apple Mail, any email being opened through Apple Mail or a Safari browser is going to be like the way that actual email service like again crawls that email, it actually kind of almost like it basically gives a false indicator that somebody actually opened it. So open rates have been a little bit overinflated in a lot of cases since then. So it's a little bit harder, or a little bit more difficult to discern how much of your open rate is going to be skewed by that. A lot of people are looking at like being able to kind of identify like, hey, who's opening through a mobile browser or through a Safari mobile browser. And those have really helped to kind of like, hey, we need to take those opens with a grain of salt because those may not be as accurate as others, but everything else should be fairly accurate. Again, those people are going to be opening your emails. Again, open rate kind of falls flat from there because you could have a super high open rate, but if nobody's taking action or nobody's actually clicking into the email or listening to the behavior you want to see, then it really doesn't matter. So again, you want to be understanding how it fits into your measurement framework and how effective it is at driving the behavior you want to see. So when we talk about measurement framework, and this goes back like a few blog posts back, so we can link back to that one in here or in the description here, but we talk about what does our measurement framework look like, and we talked about 3 different layers of measurement. We talked about engagement-based metrics, again, performance-based metrics, and value-based metrics. So those engagement-based metrics, as an email marketer, as an individual, I can really get a lot of good insights into what I need to be doing from open rate and clicks. So opens and clicks on those opens. So again, you've got to have an open to get a click on it. So that's where you really want to be getting those opens and performing well. But from there, you want to be driving the behavior you want to see. And both of those as standalone indicators are going to help the individual email marketer, help the individual email or marketing person. But at a higher level, once you go one layer up, you're thinking about what's a more business specific or what's a more team specific metric, where you're looking at maybe number of repeat purchasers. And that's also going to ladder up to, again, a higher level business outcome or business objective of like lifetime value, average lifetime value, or increased lifetime value of customer. So all of those kind of work together really well. The open and click rate is a good indicator for me as an individual to understand, hey, the work that I'm doing is in that right line, but again, not going to be the end all be all for me. Also, open rate's a really great indicator if I know, hey, suddenly my open rate just falls flat. Hey, I may be needing to look at like some deliverability issues. I may not have the strongest sender profile at that point. So I may need to work myself out of the doghouse in terms of like getting out of the spam folder, or again, getting out of the newsletter promotions tab on Gmail. But again, we'll talk about list hygiene a little bit too. Those are going to be kind of how we look at opens as an indicator. Like I said, it's going to be more of a vanity metric, not the end all be all. But again, as an indicator, it's a good kind of directional insight to have. It's helping you work with a compass, not necessarily a map. So what affects open rates? Open rates are going to be affected by a lot of different things. The relevancy of the content is going to be one major component of the effectiveness of that open rate. If I'm sending an email about, hey, how to stay warm in cold months in July or August in the South, or if my audience is in that region, it's not going to be relevant because it's, again, different time of year. it's not going to be valuable to them in that moment. So I'm probably not going to have the strongest open rate unless I'm being kind of joking and irreverent, and that's part of my brand. It's probably going to fall flat. So understanding, hey, I want to connect the content with the context of what's going on, so that message is going to be relevant and valuable, sending the right message to the right person at the right time. The variation of messaging is also going to be important on open rate. So if I keep sending the same email over and over and over with a very similar message, that's going to really burn my audience out because they're going to see the same thing over and over. A lot of groups in the e-commerce space fall into this trap where they're sending like, hey, sale today, sale tomorrow, sale the next day. And like when everything is a sale, that means nothing is a sale because you're suddenly devaluing your brand. You're putting yourself in that commodity space, and nobody's going to buy from you when you're having a sale because it doesn't matter because you're always having a sale. They're assuming you're always having a sale, and you're kind of going to have to go back and retrain your customers to not expect that every single time they purchase. But also, if you're doing the same thing over and over, you kind of fall into the same places like a used car lot. Nobody likes the reason used car lot like commercials or communications are not engaging is because they're the same thing over and over. You need to vary that messaging a little bit. Also, list hygiene is going to be really important in terms of impacting open rate. If you have poor list hygiene or a poor, like basically a poor sender score, you're not going to be hitting the inboxes frequently for the Gmail subscribers. You may be hitting your spam folder. So again, if you're hitting the spam folder, it's hard to get opens because you just aren't going to be seen as much. And then if you're going into the newsletter promotions tab, those are going to be harder to get opens because people don't check those as often on their desktop. Also, if you're, depending on your messaging, your strategy, depending on the email type you're sending, if you're a newsletter-based company or like a Substack, those businesses are typically may have a higher open rate because that content is going to be, again, a little bit more valuable. If somebody subscribes to a Substack list, they're probably opening those more frequently because they're probably paying for it. So understanding, hey, what type of content am I sharing? Is this more, again, promotional based or is this more content based? And that's where we, again, for Marketing Rhythm, we like to focus on a lot more content marketing because that's just a strong way to build relationships and be relevant and build a rhythm of communications with your audience. So that's where we like the content side of things to keep things relevant, keep things fresh, and add value beyond the transaction, not just constantly trying to promote. But again, there's a time and place for promotion, so we got to do it. But again, I've kind of gone through all these factors, all these variables, but you guys really wanted to know, like, what are some ways to actually make this work? What are some ways to actually improve my open rate? So we came up with a list of a few things you could do to improve the open rate and kind of put yourself in a good position. The first one, at a high level, know your audience. Connect the content with the context of your audience. And basically understanding your audience is going to help you understand like what are going to be the best times to communicate with them. A lot of different things are going to stem from that. So like one client we have that's a children's clothing company, we realize, hey, every one of their audience members is going to be busy during the day. If I have a young child who's going to be, again, taking a lot of time and attention, I'm not going to be as available during the day. But when we email that audience at night after 8 p.m., they are always available because like they've been working all day, they're fried, they're on the sofa, on their phones, engaging on their phones, and that's the easiest time of day to reach them. And also their schedule doesn't vary on the weekends either because their kids are on such a consistent regular schedule that there's not as much variation there. So knowing your audience really gives you a lot of power and a lot of insight into understand, hey, this audience is going to be really easy to reach at these times. Like, I don't want to reach that audience at like during the middle of the day. Maybe if I'm communicating during nap time, that may be a good time for that group. But understanding that audience really gives us a lot of great insights, and we can test and understand, hey, what time of day is going to be best? When we ask their customers what's going on in their lives, like those are all going to be important variables to be thinking about. Like holidays are probably not going to be the best time to be communicating with anybody either. So again, knowing your audience is super helpful, and then segmenting based on who's doing what. If I know I want to send a really specific message to a specific segment of my audience, I need to be sending it to the right group at the right time. So again, I don't want to be sending how to stay warm in the summer to a group in the northern hemisphere if they're cold, or like, again, in the northern hemisphere, it may not be cold during that time of year, so we want to be sending it to a relevant time and place. Again, I'm screwing up my analogies. It happens. We're going to go with this. You guys have seen enough of these videos. You know they're not perfect. From there, there's kind of one strategy that I've used in the past. This comes from days working in social, is varying the messaging of my communications enough at different times, so it's going to be fresh and relevant, and it's not going to be just one thing over and over. I also talked about like good messaging and good variation should be kind of like a set list for a musician, where you're doing a few different things, but you're serving different audiences with each of those and different ways that you can communicate with each of them. So one thing you're going to be doing, if I'm a musician, I'm going to be experimenting with new music pretty consistently. They're going to be releasing new music all the time. They want to be testing that on the road. They want to be testing that in front of their audience, and they can see, but hey, is this working? Is this not? Is this something we need to do more of? Basically, you want to be kind of testing and experimenting all the time, where you're kind of learning a little bit, tweaking things, perfecting things, and polishing. That's going to be what's going to help you stay forward, leaning and on your toes as a marketer, and also going to be helping you evolve what you're doing through your email campaigns and automations. Also, you want to be incorporating some deeper tracks or some deep cuts. That's where those are going to be going to more segmented, narrow audiences, but you're sending those to the groups that are going to be a really specific, hopefully impactful groups. That's like, again, a band playing like that song they haven't played in like 7 years, and again, only their super fans are the ones that really like get it, but they're the ones like bawling their eyes out at the concert. Like that's who you're working on impacting there. It's not for everybody, but for the ones it's for, it's really impactful. And that's where you want to be, like the highly targeted segmented emails. Those are really impactful. So getting those done well, you want to be incorporating that into your mix. And then because you're likely a large artist, like you've got to play the hits. You've got to have those sing-alongs where everybody loves it, everybody knows the words. And like if you're Coldplay, like you're probably going to play like Yellow or The Scientist, like so everybody can sing along. So those are where you play the hits. You play the content that's going to be driving actions. You're going to get people engaged and involved, and that's where you really keep that audience engaged. We have some, like we call this warm fuzzy content, but it performs at a high level every time, and it's like clockwork where we can recycle it year after year after year. But we will be using that at times where we want to tee up other things. So before we want to, again, tee up a promotion or a sale, we can be a little bit more salesy when we've engaged everyone through a piece of valuable content. And that's where we're saying like, hey, go to the merch table, go buy something. We can tee that up. And when we combine all four of those together, we're varying the messaging, we're getting everything in line. And then when we say go to that merch table, when we're, again, like we give, and then we can ask. And that's what, like, hey, that's where those promotional emails fit in. That's where we can be a little bit more heavy-handed in our communication. But we've teed ourselves up for that. We've earned the right to ask for that. And that's what gives us that permission to get to ask for more. And that's ideally by the time we've gotten there, we've have our audience so engaged, they're ready to buy anyways. So we have, again, kind of that holistic experience. The next piece is going to be list hygiene. So again, making sure we have consistent, good list hygiene, cleaning our list, getting people off of our list who are not engaged, get them off your list. Everybody thinks like, hey, I've got a big list. It's valuable for me. It's a business asset. It's not. If they're not engaging, get them off your list. It's hurting you. It's not helping you. So again, let's let it go. Let's keep moving on. But yeah, cleaning your list regularly, having sunset sequences to get them off your list, or again, making sure your inbox is clean and you're not hitting the spam folder, because again, a broad big list that's not engaged is going to end you in the spam folder. It's also going to make your open rate go down. So you're not even going to have that good vanity metric anymore. So who loves that? And then A/B testing, or just testing in general, is going to be another way that you can understand, hey, what is going to be working, what's not, and then how am I going to be applying that? So this is where, for your automations, this is your digital petri dish. your email automation petri dish, this is where you should be getting lots of great insights to use to, again, get on your toes and communicate well. And then you're going to be experimenting and trying different things. So like some of these emails, like, again, am I going to be sending this as somebody else? Do emojis work in my subject and preview text? How am I going to be using those effectively? Those are all going to be great ways to kind of get that right mix. And then the last different way, I know we talked about 3 different email types, but different structures for your actual emails are actually going to help out too. Like a lot of different groups, we actually send a good amount of plain text or hybrid emails where you can test and experiment with that too. But a lot of times plain text emails will actually inbox a little bit better because, again, they're going to be viewed as completely readable. And those are going to be things that hopefully help you. Again, if you're inboxing well, you're going to have a higher open rate there too. And if you're sending from like a person at brand, that's also kind of a way to give a nice pattern interrupt there where they may be finding some relevant information there. So it's not just brand all the time. You give enough variation, and hopefully by that time they feel like you're emailing from a person. So those are one way that we've found a lot of success in getting that open rate up, because if they feel like it's an authentic email from an individual, it's a lot more likely to be open and it's a lot more likely to have an impact. So we've gone through a lot of open rates. Like, again, yeah, I feel like I could go on for days, but nobody wants that. So at a high level, open rate, it's a really good insight to have. It's a good indicator for success. It's something you've got to be doing. Again, open rate means you have an opportunity to, again, drive a behavior or drive an action. But again, it's not going to be your only metric or your only measure of success. You need to be looking through your marketing in a lot more holistic lens. Again, can be kind of a vanity metric if you get too held up on it. And this can be something that's going to be helpful, but not the only thing. So open rates, good to have, not the only thing to have. Keep moving beyond, keep moving towards like more tangible, measurable metrics. And then when you're thinking about open rate, hey, if we see something complete fall off, we need to be addressing it. We may need to take a look at our deliverability and kind of go from there. So that being said, there's probably something we missed here. There's probably something I missed there. I'm going to be honest, guys. So if there's anything I missed or any other insights you have, put it in the comments. Would love to know more. Like, this is where we're all growing, we're all learning. And again, this is a space where it's consistently evolving. So want to be learning more. So if you have comments or feedback, let me know. And then also, if you guys have more questions, let me know. This is really fun. We have a lot of fun doing these. So love talking shop. Obviously, like as you can see, talking marketing is kind of my love language. So ask questions, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.